The doorbell rang 3 times sharp, demanding, like someone hammering nails into my peace. I was folding Richard's flannel shirt, the blue one with the frayed collar. 3 months gone, and I still couldn't donate his clothes. Ring. 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 I set the shirt down, my wedding ring catching the afternoon light. 42 years I wore that ring, 62 years old, and some days I still reached across the bed expecting him to be there. Through the frosted glass of my front door, I saw her. Emma. My daughter-in-law stood on my porch, surrounded by suitcases like she was checking into a damn hotel. 3 bags. No, 4. A purse the size of a small dog. I didn't move. She rang again. Linda. Linda, I know you're home. I can see the TV on. Her voice, that sugary kindergarten teacher voice that used to charm Richard so completely. She's good for Marcus, he'd say. She settles him down. I walked to the door but didn't open it. What do you want, Emma? I need to talk to you, please. Through the warped glass, her silhouette wavered. She looked smaller than I remembered, deflated. We don't have anything to talk about. Linda, please. You had your chance to talk 3 months ago. Silence. I could see her shift her weight. She knew exactly what I meant. At the funeral, I continued, my voice steady as stone. While Pastor Mike talked about Richard's 40 years of service to this community, you were on your phone, scrolling. I watched you. I can explain. Laughing at something, actually laughing while they lowered my husband into the ground. It wasn't like that. So tell me, Emma, what could possibly be so important on Instagram that you couldn't put down your phone for 1 hour? 1 hour to honor the man who welcomed you into this family? I heard her breath hitch through the door. I made a mistake, okay? I'm sorry. But Linda, I'm desperate. Marcus kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. My hand was on the deadbolt. I didn't turn it. You have parents, friends, a sister in Denver. They won't. I can't. It's complicated. Life's complicated, Emma. Respect is simple. Please. Her voice cracked. I just need a few days. A week, tops. Just until I figure things out. I almost laughed. The audacity. This woman who couldn't be bothered to show an ounce of decency at my husband's funeral now expected sanctuary? Expected me to open my arms in my home like some kind of charity inn? No. What? I turned the deadbolt. Opened the door 6 inches. The chain lock held. Her face, God, she looked terrible. Mascara tracks down her cheeks, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, red-rimmed eyes. For a split second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. You're not welcome here, Emma. But I have nowhere. Should have thought about that before you disrespected Richard's memory. She stared at me, mouth open, like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Linda, please. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I'm begging you. My answer is no. She put her hand on the door, pushed against it. You can't do this. You can't just turn me away. I'm family. Something hot flared in my chest. Family. Family. Family shows up, I said, my voice dropping low. Family puts down their phone. Family respects the dead. I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't change what you did. She pushed harder against the door. The chain groaned. Let me in, Linda. We need to talk about Marcus, about what he's done. I'm not interested in your marital problems. This isn't about marriage, I slammed the door. The sound echoed through the house like a gunshot, sharp, final. My heart was pounding. My hands shook. I'd never slammed a door in someone's face in my entire life. Richard would have been horrified. He was always the peacemaker, the one who smoothed things over, who believed everyone deserved a second chance. But Richard wasn't here anymore. And I was so tired of being nice. I pressed my back against the door, breathing hard. On the other side, I heard Emma crying. Not dainty, polite crying, ugly, gasping sobs that made my stomach twist. Good, I thought viciously. Let her cry. I walked back to the living room, picked up Richard's flannel shirt, held it to my face. It didn't smell like him anymore, just laundry detergent and time. That's when I heard her voice through the door. Quieter now, broken. Linda, please. I have nowhere else to go. I folded the shirt. Smooth, precise creases. The way Richard liked it. And there's something about Marcus you need to know. My hands stilled. Something about Marcus. My son. My firstborn. The boy who'd grown into a man I barely recognized anymore. I hadn't spoken to Marcus in 3 months. Not since the funeral. Not since he'd stood at the graveside with his arm around Emma, promising to handle the estate details, then disappeared into his perfect suburban life and never called again. Emma's voice came again, muffled through the oak door. He's not who you think he is, Linda. And if you don't let me in, if you don't hear what I have to say, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. I stood there in my living room, clutching my dead husband's shirt, staring at the door. Outside, Emma's shadow hadn't moved. Inside, my mind was racing. Something about Marcus. What could she possibly tell me about my own son that I didn't already know? I set down the shirt, walked to the door, put my hand on the knob, but I didn't open it. Not yet. I didn't open the door. Emma's shadow stayed on my porch for 20 minutes before I heard her car start. By then, I was back in the living room, pretending to watch TV, pretending her words weren't crawling under my skin like insects. Something about Marcus you need to know. I turned off the TV at 9, went to bed at 10, stared at the ceiling until midnight. At 2 a.m., I gave up. The kitchen was dark except for the microwave clock, 2 17-inch glowing green numbers. I made chamomile tea I wouldn't drink and sat at the table where Richard and I had eaten breakfast for 30 years. 3 months. 3 months since I'd spoken to my son. Not a call, not a text, nothing. The last time I saw Marcus was at the cemetery, standing at his father's graveside in a suit that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. He'd hugged me brief, awkward, and said, "Don't worry about anything, Mom. I'll handle the estate details, all the paperwork. You just focus on healing." I'd been grateful then, relieved even. My boy, stepping up, taking care of his mother. Except he never called to discuss the estate, never stopped by, never checked if I was eating, sleeping, breathing. Just vanished. Into his big house in the suburbs, with his kindergarten teacher wife and his corporate lawyer job and his perfectly curated life. I picked up my phone, set it down, picked it up again. Marcus's contact photo stared at me, him and Richard at a Broncos game 5 years ago, both grinning, arms around each other. Back when my son still smiled, like he meant it. Something about Marcus you need to know. What could Emma possibly tell me? I knew my son, raised him, watched him grow from a colicky baby into a little league star, into a high school valedictorian, into a man who wore suits and said things like circling back and synergy. But did I know him? Really? My finger hovered over his name. It was 2:23 a.m. He'd be asleep. He'd be furious. I called this late. Good. I pressed call. It rang once. Twice. On the third ring, someone picked up. Hello? Not Marcus. A woman's voice. Young, nervous. My brain stuttered. I'm sorry, I must have the wrong number. Is this Mrs. Hartwell? I froze. The voice knew my name. Yes. Who is this? Oh God. Oh God, he's going to kill me. Who is this? Silence. Then rustling. Whispers I couldn't quite make out. Hello? I said, louder. I'm trying to reach my son, Marcus Hartwell. This is his number. I know. I'm Mrs. Hartwell. I'm so sorry. Marcus can't come to the phone right now. Why not? More rustling. He's asleep. Then wake him up. I can't. Wake him up. My voice came out sharp, authoritative. The voice I used to use when Marcus was 16 and missed curfew. The woman on the other end was crying, soft, hiccuping sounds. Please don't be mad at me. I didn't know he hadn't told you. He said you knew. He promised you knew. Ice water down my spine. Knew what? About us. About me. The kitchen felt too small suddenly. Too dark. Who are you? A shaky breath. My name is Ashley. I'm Mrs. Hartwell, I'm Marcus's fiancé. The word didn't make sense. Fiancé. Fiancé. That's not possible, I heard myself say. My son is married to Emma. Not anymore. What? They're divorced. Well, almost. The papers are. You're lying. I'm not. I swear. Marcus said Emma was unstable, that she wouldn't accept it was over. He said you were on his side, that you understood. I laughed. Actually laughed. A harsh, bitter sound that scared even me. I haven't spoken to my son in 3 months, so no, sweetie. I didn't understand anything. Oh God. Oh no. He lied. He lied to me. Put Marcus on the phone. Right now. He's going to be so mad. I don't care. Put him on. More rustling. Muffled voices, hers pleading, his angry and groggy. Then, Mom? Marcus. My son's voice. The one I used to hear every Sunday when he'd call to check in. Before Richard died. Before everything changed. Who the hell was that? I asked. Ashley. It's complicated. Your fiancé, she said. Silence. Marcus. Look, I was going to tell you. When? After the wedding? There's not going to be a wedding. Not yet. We're seeing where things go. You're married. Not for long. Emma showed up at my house today. I heard him inhale sharply. What did she say? That you kicked her out. She's lying. Is she? Mom, I don't have time for this. It's 2 a.m. You don't have time? My voice rose. Your father is dead. Your wife is homeless. And you're shacked up with some girl young enough to be, how old is she, Marcus? 29. You're 43. So? So you're having a midlife crisis, and I'm supposed to just accept it? I'm not having a crisis. I'm moving on. Starting fresh. Emma and I, it wasn't working. We grew apart. You grew apart? Or you found a younger model? That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Your father's been dead 3 months, and you haven't called me once. Not to check in, not to see if I'm okay. Nothing. I've been dealing with a lot. We've all been dealing with a lot. My voice cracked. I was shaking, actually shaking. Emma was on her phone at the funeral, I said quietly. The whole time. And you know what I thought? I thought, what a disrespectful woman, what a terrible daughter-in-law. Marcus didn't respond. But you weren't even there, were you? During the service, Sarah told me you waited in the parking lot. I said goodbye in my own way. You didn't say goodbye at all. Silence stretched between us. Outside my kitchen window, I could see Emma's car, still parked in my driveway. Engine off now. Dark. Marcus, I said slowly. What did you do to that girl? What? Nothing. I told her we were over. That's it. She said you kicked her out. She's being dramatic. She showed up at my house with 4 suitcases. Because she's unstable, Mom. She won't accept reality, won't sign the papers. She keeps calling me, showing up at my office. Maybe because you're her husband. On paper only. It's been over for a year. Then why not tell me? Why hide it? He sighed. That exasperated, condescending sigh that set my teeth on edge. Because I knew you'd react like this. All judgment, no understanding, just like always. Just like, excuse me? You heard me. You always take everyone else's side. Emma, Sarah, Dad, never mine. That's not true. It is. And you know what? I don't need this. I'm trying to build a new life, and I don't need you. A sound outside. A car engine. Emma's car. Headlights flared to life, cutting across my kitchen window. Marcus, I have to go. Mom? We'll talk later. I hung up. Walked to the window. Emma's car sat in my driveway, engine running, exhaust ghosting into the cold night air. But she wasn't driving. She was just sitting there, motionless, staring straight ahead, and in her lap, barely visible in the dashboard light. My breath caught. A gun. Emma had a gun in her lap. I ran. 62 years old, arthritic knees, slippers on my feet, I ran faster than I'd moved in a decade. Emma. The cold hit me like a slap. February in Colorado, 2 in the morning, and I was outside in my nightgown screaming at a car. Emma, don't. She didn't move. Just sat there in the driver's seat, both hands on the gun, staring at nothing. I reached the car, yanked on the door handle. Locked. Open the door! Emma, open this door right now. Nothing. I pounded on the window with my fist. Once, twice, hard enough that pain shot up my arm. Emma. Her head turned slowly. She looked at me like she was seeing through me, past me. Her eyes, God, her eyes were hollow, empty, like someone had scooped out everything human and left just a shell. Open the door, I said again, quieter now, pleading. She blinked. Then, slowly, she reached over and unlocked it. I ripped the door open. Give me the gun. It's not. Give it to me. Now. My voice came out commanding, sheriff's wife voice, the one that made drunk college kids at town festivals hand over their fake IDs without argument. Emma's hands were shaking so badly the gun trembled. I recognized it immediately. Richard's service pistol, the old Smith & Wesson from his deputy days, the one that was supposed to be locked in our bedroom safe. How did you get this? I whispered. Marcus gave me the code, years ago, in case of emergencies. And this is an emergency? She laughed. A broken, desperate sound. He took everything, Linda, everything. And I can't let him win. I can't. I reached forward, wrapped my hands around the gun, around her hands. Let go, sweetheart. I can't. Yes, you can. You don't understand. Then help me understand. But first, let go of the gun. For a long moment, we just sat there. Her hands, my hands, the gun between us. Then she released it. I pulled it away, checked the safety on, thank God, and shoved it into my nightgown pocket. The weight dragged one side down. Get out of the car. Linda. Out. Now. You're coming inside. You said I wasn't welcome. That was before you showed up in my driveway with my dead husband's gun in your lap. I grabbed her arm, pulled. She stumbled out, and I was shocked at how light she was, how fragile. When had she gotten so thin? We walked to the house together, me gripping her elbow, her shuffling like an old woman. Inside, I locked the door. All 3 locks. Then I turned on every light in the living room. Emma stood there blinking, disoriented. Her suitcases still sat by the door where she'd left them hours ago. Sit. She sat on the couch. I sat across from her in Richard's recliner. Between us, the coffee table. The same table where Richard used to do crossword puzzles, where Marcus used to do homework, where life used to be normal. Talk, I said. I just got off the phone with my son, and a woman named Ashley, who claims to be his fiancée. Emma flinched like I'd hit her. So I'm guessing, I continued, that whatever you need to tell me about Marcus is related to that? She nodded. When did it start? I asked. A year ago? Maybe longer? I don't know anymore. You don't know when your husband started cheating? I didn't know he was cheating, not at first. He was just different, distant, always on his phone, working late, the usual clichés. She wrapped her arms around herself. I thought it was stress. His firm was going through layoffs. He was up for partner. I figured once things settled down, we'd be okay. But you weren't. No. She looked at me then, really looked at me. He asked for a divorce last February, right before your husband got sick. February. A year ago. Right when Richard started having chest pains, right before the diagnosis. He said he wasn't happy, that he hadn't been happy for years, that we'd grown apart and it was nobody's fault, just life. And you said? I said no. You said no? I said I wanted to try counseling first, that we'd been together 15 years and I wasn't throwing that away without a fight. She picked at a thread on her sleeve. He agreed. We went to 3 sessions, then your husband died and Marcus said we should pause the counseling, out of respect. Give everyone time to grieve. But he wasn't grieving. No, he was planning. The way she said it made my skin crawl. Planning what? Emma reached into her purse, pulled out her phone, opened it with shaking hands. Can I show you something? I nodded. She pulled up a photo, turned the screen toward me. A bank statement. Our joint savings account, the one Richard and I had set up when Marcus was born, the one we'd been adding to for 40 years, the one that was supposed to have $180,000 in it. The balance showed $3,247. What? Keep looking. She swiped. More statements, transfers, withdrawals. $10,000 here, $25,000 there, $50,000 to an account I didn't recognize. All signed with my name. My signature. Except I'd never made those transfers. He forged your signature, Emma said quietly, using Richard's power of attorney. He told the bank he was handling your finances while you were grieving, that you'd authorized everything. My hands went numb. Marcus did this? Marcus did a lot of things. She swiped again. Text messages, screenshots. Marcus to Ashley. Just a few more months and the old lady will be in a home. Then we can sell the house. Ashley to Marcus. Are you sure? What about Emma? Marcus to Ashley. Emma's taken care of. Lawyer says we can get her committed if she keeps refusing to sign. Dad's old sheriff buddies will back me up. She's clearly unstable. I couldn't breathe. Committed? I whispered. Emma nodded, tears streaming down her face now. He's been building a case, telling people I'm unstable, erratic, that I threatened him, that I need psychiatric help. But you're a kindergarten teacher. Not anymore. He called my principal, said I was having a breakdown, that I might be dangerous around children. I'm on administrative leave pending investigation. Jesus Christ. He's been draining our accounts, forging documents, using your husband's name, your husband's reputation to get people to help him. Sheriff Hartwell's son couldn't possibly be lying, right? She laughed again. That awful broken sound. He told me if I didn't disappear quietly, if I didn't sign the papers and just go away, he'd have me committed, and everyone would believe him, the respected lawyer with the dead sheriff father, not the crazy wife who can't let go. I stared at her. This woman I'd hated 3 hours ago. This woman I'd blamed for disrespecting my husband. The funeral, I said slowly. You were on your phone. I was texting Marcus, begging him to come inside, to say goodbye to his father. He kept saying he was coming, just 5 more minutes, just needed to take this call. Her voice broke. He never came, did he? I said. No. He stayed in the parking lot the whole time, then left right after, said he had a work thing. He had a work thing? Yeah. We sat in silence. Outside, dawn was starting to break, gray light creeping through my windows. My son. The boy I'd raised to say please and thank you, to open doors for people, to stand up for what was right. That boy had become a monster, and I'd been too blind to see it. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. Why come here now? Emma wiped her eyes. Because you were the only one left. My parents think I'm hysterical. My sister says I should just sign the papers and move on. Marcus has convinced everyone I'm the problem. But why me? I slammed the door in your face. Because you're Richard's wife. You know what integrity looks like, what it's supposed to look like. She pulled out another paper from her purse, unfolded it. And because of this, a psychological evaluation form, official letterhead, Dr. Nathan Brenner, one of Richard's old poker buddies, recommending Emma be placed under involuntary psychiatric hold. Signed last week. Emma had never met Dr. Brenner. He's going to have me locked up, Linda, and once I'm in there, once I'm officially unstable, he'll drain everything. Take the house, marry Ashley, and I'll be the crazy ex-wife nobody believes. She looked at me with those hollow eyes. So I took the gun. Because I figured if I'm going to lose everything anyway, at least I'd go out on my terms. My chest hurt. And then you came running out of your house in your nightgown, screaming at me like a lunatic. Despite everything, she smiled. Just a little. Yeah, I said. I did. I reached into my pocket, pulled out Richard's gun, set it on the coffee table between us. My husband kept this for 15 years, never fired it once after he retired. Know why? Emma shook her head. Because he said the worst violence is the kind you do to yourself, the kind that lets the bad guys win. I stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the sun was rising over my quiet neighborhood. The neighborhood where I'd raised my children, where I'd buried my husband, where I'd thought I knew everyone. My son, I said quietly, is stealing from me, destroying you, using his father's name to do it. I turned back to Emma. Richard would be ashamed and furious. I know, but I'm not Richard. I picked up my phone, pulled up a contact I hadn't called in months. Emma watched me, confused. Who are you calling? Someone Marcus is really going to hate. The phone rang twice. Then my daughter's voice, groggy and annoyed. Mom, it's 5 a.m. Someone better be dead. Not yet, I said. But Sarah, I need you, and you're going to want to be awake for this. Sarah arrived in 40 minutes. I know because I watched the clock the entire time, sitting across from Emma, both of us silent, both of us holding cold cups of coffee neither of us could drink. When headlights swept across my living room window, Emma flinched. It's okay, I said. It's just my daughter. Your daughter who's a prosecutor. Assistant DA, actually. That's not better. It's better than what Marcus has. The front door opened. Sarah still had a key, and she walked in wearing yoga pants and an oversized Broncos sweatshirt, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. No makeup, wild-eyed. My youngest. 37 and still beautiful, even at 5 a.m. She stopped when she saw Emma. Oh, hell no. Sarah. Her? You called me at dawn because of her? Just listen. She disrespected Dad's funeral, Mom. You made me swear we'd never speak to her again. I was wrong. That stopped her. Sarah's mouth opened, closed, opened again. You were… what? Wrong. I was wrong about Emma, and I was wrong about your brother. Marcus. What does… Sit down. Mom. Sarah Elizabeth Hartwell. Sit. Down. She sat. I spent the next 20 minutes showing her everything. The bank statements, the forged signatures, the text messages, the psychiatric evaluation. Sarah's face went through stages: confusion, disbelief, anger, and finally cold prosecutorial focus. She looked like Richard in those moments. Same sharp eyes, same set jaw. This son of a bitch, she breathed. That's your brother, Emma said quietly. Not anymore, he's not. Sarah spread the documents across the coffee table like evidence at a trial, organized them, photographed them with her phone. This is… Mom, this is fraud. Forgery. Financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. That's you, by the way. I'm not vulnerable. Legally, you are. You're a widow over 65. The statutes are clear. She picked up the psychiatric evaluation. And this? This is conspiracy. Possibly false imprisonment if he'd actually gone through with it. Can you prove it? I asked. Sarah looked at me. Really looked at me. You want me to prosecute our brother? I want you to stop him. Mom, he's stealing from me. He's destroying Emma. He's using your father's name to do it. My voice didn't shake, didn't waver. Your father spent 40 years upholding the law, and his son is spitting on everything he believed in. Sarah set down the evaluation form. He's still my brother. I know. He was at my law school graduation. He helped me move into my first apartment. He's not that person anymore. Silence. Outside, the sun was fully up now. Saturday morning in suburbia, neighbors walking dogs, kids riding bikes. Normal life. While mine fell apart. What do you want me to do? Sarah asked finally. What you do best. Build a case. Against my own brother. Yes. She looked at Emma. And you. You're okay with this? Going after your husband? Ex-husband, Emma corrected. Or he will be, once he's done destroying me. That's not an answer. Emma straightened up, some steel entering her spine. I taught kindergarten for 12 years. I had a classroom of 23 5-year-olds who loved me, who trusted me. And your brother took that away with a phone call and a lie. Her voice got stronger. So yes, I'm okay with this. I'm more than okay with this. Sarah studied her, then nodded. Good, because you're going to need to be strong. Marcus has resources, connections. Dad's old buddies at the sheriff's department, some of them will back him just out of loyalty. What do we do? I asked. Sarah pulled out her laptop. We document everything. Every transaction, every forged signature, every lie. We build a case so airtight even Marcus's fancy corporate lawyers can't wriggle out of it. She started typing. Mom, I need you to call the bank. First thing Monday morning. Report the unauthorized transfers. They'll freeze the accounts, start an investigation. Okay. Emma, you need to file a police report. About the threats, the harassment, the attempt to have you committed. The police won't believe me. They will when I'm standing next to you, and when we have documentation. Sarah looked up from her laptop. But there's a problem. Of course there was. What? Marcus is smart. He's covered his tracks. He used Mom's power of attorney, technically legal if he can claim he had permission. He used Dad's connections, personal favors, not official corruption. And the psychiatric evaluation? Dr. Brenner will say Marcus came to him concerned about his wife, that he was acting in good faith. So we can't prove anything? Emma's voice cracked. I didn't say that. I said it's complicated. Sarah leaned back, thinking. We need leverage. Something that makes Marcus realize he can't win. Something that scares him more than losing money. Like what? I asked. Sarah smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Like public humiliation. She turned her laptop around. On the screen, a flyer for the Richard Hartwell Memorial Foundation dinner. Next Saturday, 1 week away. The annual event Marcus had been planning for months. The big charity gala to honor his father's legacy. Scholarships for underprivileged kids. Community policing reforms. Everything Richard had believed in. Marcus was listed as the keynote speaker. He's been promoting this for weeks, Sarah said. On social media, in the newspaper. He's using it as his big public debut, the devoted son honoring his hero father. She looked at me. What if we used it for something else? You want to confront him there? I asked. In front of everyone? Not confront. Expose. Emma shook her head. That's insane. You can't. People will think you're the crazy ones. Not if we do it right, Sarah said. Not if we have evidence. Not if we have the one person in this town that everyone trusts standing up and telling the truth. She looked at me. Mom, you're the sheriff's widow. People love you. You spent 40 years at every town event, every fundraiser, every pancake breakfast. You know everyone. Everyone knows you. Sarah, I can't. Yes, you can. You get up at that dinner. You tell everyone what Marcus did, and you show them the proof. He'll deny it. Let him. Once you plant the seed, once people start questioning him, it's over. His reputation is his power. Take that away, and he's got nothing. I thought about it. Standing up in front of 300 people, calling out my own son, airing our family's dirty laundry in the most public way possible. Richard would have hated it. But Richard wasn't here. What if it doesn't work? I asked. Then we go to trial. And it takes years and costs a fortune, and maybe we win, maybe we don't. Sarah closed her laptop. But if it does work? If we expose him publicly? Marcus backs down, returns the money, leaves Emma alone. Because the alternative is being charged with fraud and forgery and exploitation and spending the next decade fighting it. She stood up. It's a gamble, Mom, but it's our best shot. I looked at Emma. What do you think? She was quiet for a long moment. Then, I think your husband would be proud of you. Something in my chest loosened. Okay, I said. We do it. Sarah grinned. Good. Because I already started drafting your speech. Of course she had. We spent the next 3 hours planning. Sarah on her laptop, typing furiously. Emma digging through her phone for more evidence. Me making phone calls to the bank, to Richard's old friends, To the foundation board? At 10 a.m., my phone rang. Marcus. I stared at the screen. Sarah looked up. Don't answer. I have to. Mom. He's still my son. I answered. Hello, Marcus. Mom. His voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk. I agree. Emma's been telling you lies. Has she? Yes. She's unwell, Mom, unstable. I've been trying to help her, but she's... I saw the bank statements, Marcus. Silence. The transfers, the forged signatures, all of it. More silence. Mom, I can explain. Can you explain the text messages about putting me in a home? That was I was venting. I didn't mean... Can you explain trying to have Emma committed? She's dangerous. She's sitting right here, Marcus, in my living room, and she seems pretty stable to me. I could hear him breathing. You're making a mistake, he said finally. Am I? Emma is manipulating you. She's good at that. She's turned you against me. You turned me against you. All by yourself. Mom, I'll see you next Saturday, at your father's memorial dinner. What? You're the keynote speaker, aren't you? I'll be there. Mom, don't... Goodbye, Marcus. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Sarah was staring at me, impressed. Holy shit, Mom. Language. You just declared war on your own son. Yes, I said. I did. Emma was crying again, but different this time. Not broken. Relieved. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. We haven't won anything. But we're fighting. That's more than I had yesterday. She was right. Yesterday, she'd had a gun in her lap and nothing to live for. Today, she had allies. Tomorrow, we'd have a plan. And next Saturday? Next Saturday, my son was going to learn what happens when you betray a sheriff's widow. Sunday morning, I woke up to Emma cooking breakfast in my kitchen. For a second, I forgot everything. Just heard the sizzle of bacon, smelled coffee, and thought maybe Richard was still alive and this was all a nightmare. Then I saw Emma's suitcases stacked in the corner of the hallway. Right. The new reality. You didn't have to do this, I said, shuffling in. She shrugged. You let me stay. Least I can do is make breakfast. I didn't let you stay out of kindness. I know. You let me stay because you needed evidence. She slid scrambled eggs onto 2 plates. But you're still letting me stay. Fair point. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Emma spoke. Sarah texted me this morning. She wants us to meet at her office tomorrow. 9 a.m. On a Monday? Doesn't she have court? She took the day off. That was serious. Sarah never took days off. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Marcus, Mom, please call me. We need to discuss this rationally. I deleted it. Another buzz. Marcus, you're making a huge mistake. Emma is unstable. I have documentation. Delete. Marcus, I'm trying to protect you. Why won't you listen? I turned off my phone. Emma watched me. He's not going to stop, she said. I know. He's going to come here. Or send people. Let him. She looked at me like I was crazy. Maybe I was. But Richard used to say the worst criminals were the ones who smiled at church on Sunday. The ones who looked respectable, who used their status as armor. My son was one of them now. And I'd spent 40 years as a sheriff's wife. I knew how to spot a con. Monday morning, Sarah's office was chaos. Papers everywhere. Whiteboards covered in notes. 3 laptops open. Sarah looked like she hadn't slept. Coffee? She offered. Please. Emma sat down, nervous. Sarah's office was intimidating, law books floor to ceiling, framed credentials on the wall, photos of her shaking hands with the governor. My daughter had done well for herself. Okay, Sarah said, handing us coffee. I've been digging all weekend. And Mom? It's worse than we thought. How worse? She pulled up a spreadsheet on her laptop. Marcus didn't just steal from you. He's been systematically draining Dad's estate for months. The life insurance payout? Gone. The pension survivor benefits? Redirected to an account in the Caymans. My stomach dropped. How much? $340,000. Give or take. I couldn't breathe. That money was supposed to, I know, cover your expenses, health care, property taxes. He took it all. Sarah pulled up more documents. And he did it legally. Sort of. He filed as executor of Dad's estate, got the probate judge to sign off, Judge Carrington, by the way, who golfed with Dad every Thursday and moved the money before anyone could question it. Can we get it back? Emma asked. Maybe. If we can prove he did it fraudulently, but that's going to take time. Sarah leaned forward. There's more. Marcus took out a loan against your house, Mom. He what? $150,000 home equity line of credit. Forged your signature on the application, used it to buy a condo downtown. For Ashley, Emma said bitterly. Yeah, for Ashley. Sarah pulled up photos on her phone. A sleek modern condo with floor-to-ceiling windows. Downtown Denver. Probably worth $1 million. He's been planning this for over a year, Sarah said. The affair, the divorce, the financial gutting, all of it. But why? I asked. Why steal from his own mother? Because he could. Because he thought you'd never find out. And because… Sarah hesitated. Because what? Because he thinks you're weak, Mom. He told people, Dad's old colleagues, that you were declining, that you were forgetful, confused, that he was managing your affairs because you couldn't. The room went silent. He told people I was senile? Essentially, yes. Rage. Pure, white-hot rage. I'm 62 years old. I balance my own checkbook. I do the Sunday crossword in pen. I know. I am not declining. I know, Mom. Sarah came around the desk, took my hands. But he needed people to believe it, so they wouldn't question him, so they'd think he was the devoted son taking care of his aging mother. Richard's friends believed him? Some of them. Not all, but enough. I pulled my hands away. Stood up. Walked to the window. Outside, Denver traffic crawled by. Normal Monday. People going to work, living their lives. My son had stolen from me, lied about me, used his father's death as cover. What do we do? I asked quietly. We fight back, Sarah said. But we need more than just documents. We need testimony. People who'll go on record saying Marcus manipulated them. Who? Dr. Brenner, for one. The psychiatrist who signed Emma's evaluation without ever meeting her. He won't talk, Emma said. Marcus probably paid him off. Then we subpoena him? Make him talk under oath. Sarah started pacing. She did that when she was thinking. Richard used to do the same thing. We also need to talk to Judge Carrington, find out if Marcus pressured him or misrepresented facts during probate. He's a judge, I said. He won't admit to being fooled. Maybe not. But if we can prove Marcus lied to him, we can get the probate reopened. Sarah stopped pacing. And we need character witnesses. People who know you, Mom, who can testify that you're sharp as a tack, that Marcus is full of shit. Language. Sorry. But she wasn't. Neither was I. What about the memorial dinner? Emma asked. Are we still doing that? Sarah and I exchanged looks. Yes, I said. We're still doing that. But if we don't have enough evidence… We won't have a court case by Saturday, Sarah admitted. But we'll have enough to make people question Marcus, enough to ruin his reputation. And that's the goal? Emma asked. Ruin him? I thought about it. My son. My firstborn. The baby I'd held in my arms 37 years ago and promised to protect forever. No, I said finally. The goal is justice. If that ruins him, that's on him. The next 3 days were a blur. Sarah subpoenaed Dr. Brenner. He lawyered up immediately. We interviewed neighbors, friends, Richard's old colleagues. Some believed us, some didn't. Marcus called 17 times. I didn't answer. On Thursday, a lawyer showed up at my door. Marcus's lawyer. Slick suit, dead eyes. He handed me papers. What is this? A restraining order. On behalf of Marcus Hartwell and Ashley Chen, you're to have no contact with either of them. I haven't contacted them. You've been harassing them, making false accusations. Your daughter has been abusing her position as a prosecutor. Get off my property. He smiled. Shark smile. We're also filing a motion to have you declared mentally incompetent, for your own protection, of course. Emma appeared behind me. She said, leave. And you, he turned to Emma. We have a separate order for you, 50 yards from Marcus at all times, violate it, and you'll be arrested. Good thing I'm not planning to get within 100 yards of that bastard, Emma said. He left the papers on my porch, walked away. I picked them up with shaking hands. They're trying to silence us, Emma said. I know. Will it work? Not a chance. But inside, I was terrified. Marcus wasn't just defending himself anymore. He was attacking. And he had resources I didn't. Friday night, Sarah came over. She looked exhausted, wired. I got Dr. Brenner's deposition, she said. And? He claims Marcus came to him legitimately concerned about Emma, that he did a preliminary assessment based on Marcus's descriptions of her behavior. Without ever meeting her? He says it's standard practice in crisis situations. That's bullshit. I know. But it's legal bullshit. Sarah sat down heavily. Mom, I have to be honest with you. The legal case is weak. We might not win. But the dinner is different. Public opinion is different. We can still destroy his reputation. But a criminal conviction? I don't know. Emma came out of the kitchen. What if I testify? What if I tell everything? It'll help, but it's your word against his, and he'll paint you as the scorned, unstable ex-wife. Even with the evidence? Even with the evidence. We sat there, the three of us, in the living room where this all started, where Emma showed up with suitcases and desperation. So what do we do? Emma asked. Sarah pulled out a folder. Tomorrow night, the memorial dinner. You give the speech of your life, Mom. You show everyone who Marcus really is, and we hope it's enough to make him back down. And if it's not, then we go to war. A long, expensive, brutal war, and we might lose. I looked at Richard's photo on the mantel. Him in his deputy uniform, young and handsome and full of hope. What would he do? He'd do the right thing. Always. Even when it was hard. Even when it cost him. Okay, I said. I'll do it. Sarah smiled. I already wrote your speech. Want to rehearse? Now? We've got 12 hours until the dinner, so yeah, now. Emma made coffee. Sarah pulled up her laptop, and we practiced. Over and over. The speech that would either save us or destroy us. The speech that would tell everyone in this town what my son had become. And by 3 a.m., when Sarah finally fell asleep on my couch and Emma was passed out in the guest room, I stood alone in my kitchen. I held the speech in my hands. Read it one more time. And pinned Richard's old deputy badge to my dress. The one he wore his first day on the job. The one that said, honor, integrity, service. Tomorrow, I'd stand up in front of 300 people. And I'd tell them my son had none of those things. Saturday arrived too fast. I woke up at 6, couldn't eat breakfast, spent 2 hours trying on 4 different dresses before settling on the navy blue one Richard always liked. Emma made toast I couldn't swallow. Sarah showed up at noon with her briefcase and her fury barely contained. You ready? She asked. No. Good, neither am I. She set her briefcase on the kitchen table, opened it. Inside, printed copies of every document, every bank statement, every forged signature, every text message. We hand these out? Emma asked. Only if we need to. Mom's speech should be enough to plant seeds. But if Marcus challenges her, if he calls her a liar in front of everyone, then we bury him in evidence, I finished. Exactly. Sarah pulled out 3 earpieces, the kind Secret Service wears. What are these? I asked. Insurance. We stay connected the whole night. If something goes wrong, if Marcus tries something, we need to communicate. She handed one to me, one to Emma. I'll be in the back of the room. Emma, you're at table 12. I reserved you a seat with some of Dad's old colleagues, people who liked him, who'll be sympathetic. And Mom? You're at the head table, next to Marcus. My stomach dropped. Next to him? You're the widow. It's your seat. Besides, Sarah smiled grimly. I want him to know you're not afraid. The Riverside Hotel ballroom was already filling up when we arrived at 6. 300 people, maybe more. The mayor, city council members, judges, lawyers, cops, so many cops, both active and retired. Everyone who'd known Richard. Everyone who respected the Hartwell name. I stood at the entrance, Emma on one side, Sarah on the other, and felt my courage wavering. I can't do this. Yes, you can, Sarah said. They're going to think I'm crazy. Let them. For about 30 seconds. Then you'll show them you're not. She squeezed my hand. Dad would be so proud of you, Mom. That almost broke me. But I nodded, straightened my shoulders, and walked into that ballroom wearing Richard's badge pinned over my heart. Heads turned. Whispers started immediately. I saw Marcus across the room, at the head table, standing with Ashley, young, beautiful, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my mortgage. Our eyes met. He looked shocked, then angry. He started toward me. Contact in 30 seconds, Sarah said in my earpiece. Stay calm. Marcus reached me, Ashley trailing behind. Mom, what are you doing here? It's a memorial for your father. Where else would I be? You weren't on the guest list. I'm his widow. I don't need to be on a list. People were watching now, phones coming out. Marcus lowered his voice. We need to talk. Privately. No. Mom. We have nothing to discuss privately. Anything you want to say, you can say right here. Ashley put her hand on Marcus's arm. Maybe we should. Stay out of this, I said coldly. She recoiled. Mrs. Hartwell, I understand you're upset, but you understand nothing. You're 29 years old, sleeping with a married man, living in a condo bought with stolen money. Gasps around us. Marcus's face went red. That's a lie. Is it? Should we discuss it now? Or should we wait until I'm at the podium? His eyes widened. You wouldn't. Watch me. I walked away, toward the head table. Behind me, I heard Sarah's voice in my earpiece. Holy shit, Mom, that was perfect. Dinner was torture. I sat 3 seats from Marcus, separated by the mayor and a district judge I'd known for 20 years. Judge Morrison leaned over. Linda, dear, are you all right? Marcus mentioned you've been under stress. I'm fine, Harold. I'm fine, Harold. He said you've been confused lately, making accusations. Harold. I met his eyes. Do I seem confused to you? He blinked. Well, no, but then perhaps you should ask Marcus why he's telling people I am. I took a sip of water. The judge looked uncomfortable. Across the table, Marcus was staring at me with barely concealed fury. Ashley looked like she wanted to disappear. Good. The mayor gave his speech, talked about Richard's legacy, his years of service, his commitment to justice. Several other people spoke, retired deputies, the police chief, a kid who'd gotten one of Richard's scholarships. Then the MC, some local news anchor, stood up. And now, we'll hear from Richard's son, Marcus Hartwell, who organized this beautiful event. Applause. Marcus stood, adjusted his tie, walked to the podium. He looked calm, controlled, every inch the successful lawyer. Thank you all for coming, he began. My father was an exceptional man, a man of integrity, honor, and unwavering moral courage. I wanted to vomit. He taught me that justice isn't just about enforcing laws. It's about protecting the vulnerable, standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. The hypocrisy was staggering. In his memory, the Hartwell Foundation will continue his work. Scholarships for underprivileged youth, community outreach programs, support for... Liar. The word came out before I could stop it. Not loud, just loud enough. But in the silent room, everyone heard it. Marcus stopped mid-sentence. Excuse me? I stood up. I said, you're a liar, Marcus. The room erupted in whispers. Marcus's face went pale. Mom, please sit down. No, I don't think I will. I walked toward the podium. Marcus didn't move. just stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had, but I was done being silent. I reached the podium, stood right in front of him. Your father believed justice started at home, I said quietly. So only he could hear. So let's see if you have any left. Then I raised my voice. May I say a few words? The MC looked confused. Mrs. Hartwell, this wasn't on the program. I'm his widow. I think I've earned the right to speak about my husband. Murmurs of agreement. The MC looked at Marcus. Marcus's jaw was clenched so tight I thought his teeth might shatter. Of course, he said through a frozen smile. Please. He stepped aside. I took his place at the podium. 300 faces stared at me. I saw Emma at table 12, gripping the table edge. Sarah at the back, phone out, recording everything. I touched Richard's badge pinned to my dress and began. My husband was a good man. Everyone here knows that. But what you might not know is what he valued most. I paused. Truth, above all else, even when it was painful, even when it cost him. Someone coughed. 3 months ago, Richard died, and I thought foolishly that his son would honor his memory by living those same values. Marcus shifted behind me. But instead, my son has spent the last 3 months stealing from me. Gasps. Forging my signature on bank documents, transferring nearly $200,000 from accounts my husband and I built over 40 years, taking out loans against my house without my knowledge. Phones were coming out now, people recording. He told people I was senile, declining, that he was managing my affairs because I couldn't. Judge Morrison looked shocked. Let me be clear. I am 62 years old. I have all my faculties. I am not declining, confused, or incapacitated in any way. I pulled papers from my purse, held them up. I have bank statements, forged signatures, text messages where my son discusses putting me in a nursing home so he can sell my house. The room was dead silent. And it gets worse. I looked at Emma. My son's wife, Emma, came to me last week, desperate. He'd kicked her out, drained their joint accounts, tried to have her committed to a psychiatric facility based on a fraudulent evaluation. Emma was crying now. All so he could run off with his girlfriend, I gestured to Ashley, who looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. 29 years old, young enough to be his daughter. Ashley stood up, fled toward the exit. Nobody stopped her. My son used his father's name, his father's reputation, his father's connections, to commit fraud, to destroy his wife, to steal from his own mother. I looked directly at Marcus, and he thought I'd never fight back. Marcus stepped forward. This is insane. She's lying. She's clearly unwell. Am I? I held up the papers. Then explain these bank statements. Explain the transfers. Explain how my signature ended up on documents I never signed. You're confused. I'm not confused. My voice echoed through the ballroom. I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. But I am not confused. Sarah started moving forward, papers in hand. If anyone here doubts me, I said, my daughter Sarah, assistant district attorney, has complete documentation. Bank records, forensic signature analysis, text messages, all of it. Sarah reached the podium, set down a stack of folders. Available for anyone who wants to see them, she said calmly. Marcus looked panicked now. This is a setup. They're working together. Damn right we are, Sarah said, because you made us. She turned to the crowd. My brother is a thief, and he used our father's death as cover. Anyone who wants to verify what my mother is saying, come see me after. I have everything documented. Silence. Then Judge Morrison stood up. Marcus, is this true? No, absolutely not. Because if it is, you lied to me during probate proceedings. That's perjury. Marcus's lawyer, the shark from Thursday, appeared at his side. My client has no further comment. Of course he doesn't, I said. I looked out at the crowd. So many familiar faces, people I'd known for decades. My husband spent his life upholding justice, and his son has spent the last 3 months destroying it. I won't let that stand. Neither will my daughter, neither will Emma. I unpinned Richard's badge from my dress, held it up. This badge meant something: honor, integrity, service, and I'll be damned if I let Marcus drag it through the mud. I set the badge on the podium. Thank you for coming tonight. Enjoy your dinner. And remember, justice doesn't take sides, not even for family. I walked off the stage. The room erupted. People shouting questions, cameras flashing, Marcus's lawyer trying to do damage control. Emma met me halfway across the ballroom. You did it, she breathed. We did it. Sarah appeared, grinning fiercely. The police chief wants to talk to you. So does the DA. Mom, I think they believe us. Behind us, I heard Marcus shouting. She's lying. This is elder abuse. Someone call. But two men in suits were already walking toward him. Former deputies. Richard's friends. One of them, Tom Bradley, who'd worked with Richard for 15 years, looked at Marcus with pure disgust. You need to come with us, son. We have some questions. I'm not going anywhere. It wasn't a request. And then, in front of 300 people, in front of the mayor and judges and lawyers and everyone who mattered in this town, they escorted my son out of his father's memorial dinner. They didn't arrest Marcus that night. Sarah had warned me they wouldn't, not without a formal investigation, not without warrants. But watching him escorted out of that ballroom, his lawyer trailing behind, Ashley nowhere to be seen, that was almost better than handcuffs. The room erupted the moment the doors closed behind him. Everyone talking at once, phones out, people pulling up social media to see if it was already trending. It was. Hartwell scandal was blowing up on Twitter. Someone had live-streamed my entire speech. Judge Morrison approached me, his face grave. Linda, I need to apologize. For what, Harold? For believing Marcus. He came to me during probate, said you were struggling with grief, that you'd asked him to handle things. I should have verified, should have spoken to you directly. He's convincing. That's what makes him dangerous. Still, I failed you. I failed Richard. His voice cracked on my husband's name. You can make it right, I said. Reopen the probate. Investigate his claims. Already planning to. First thing Monday morning. He walked away. And 3 more people immediately took his place. All with apologies, all with offers to help. Sarah appeared at my elbow. We need to go. Now. Why? Because Marcus's lawyer just threatened to sue us for defamation, and I want you out of here before he finds a judge willing to hear him on a Saturday night. Emma grabbed my other arm. We moved toward the exit, but people kept stopping me. Mrs. Chen, from the library. I always knew something was off about Marcus. Officer Rodriguez, your husband was a good man. We'll make this right. Pastor Mike, I'll pray for your family, Linda. All of you. Even some of Marcus's friends looked shell-shocked. I didn't know, one of them said. I swear, Linda, if I'd known. Now you do, I said simply. We finally made it outside. The parking lot was chaos. News vans already arriving. A reporter shoved a microphone in my face. Mrs. Hartwell, can you comment on? No comment, Sarah said, pulling me past. We got to Sarah's car. She drove, Emma in back, me in front. Nobody spoke for 5 minutes. Then Emma started laughing. Not hysterical laughter, real, genuine laughter. You called him a liar. To his face, in front of everyone. I did. And then you buried him. We buried him, I corrected. Sarah was grinning too, though she tried to hide it. Mom, that was the most badass thing I've ever seen. Language. You literally destroyed your own son in front of 300 people. I'm allowed to say badass. She had a point. My phone started ringing. Marcus. I declined the call. It rang again immediately. Declined. A text came through. Marcus, you just destroyed this family. I hope you're happy. I stared at it. Then typed back. Me. You destroyed it first. I'm just cleaning up your mess. Another text. Marcus, I'll fight this. I'll prove you're incompetent. You'll end up in a home exactly where you belong. My hands shook. Sarah glanced over. What did he say? I showed her. Her face went hard. Screenshot that, send it to me. That's a threat, and I'm adding it to the file. I did. 3 more texts came rapid fire. Marcus, Ashley left me. Are you happy now? Marcus, my firm is putting me on administrative leave. Marcus, this is your fault. All of it. I turned off my phone. He's spiraling, Emma said quietly from the back. Good, Sarah said. Sarah. No, Mom. He deserves to spiral. He tried to destroy you. He did destroy Emma. He stole from his own mother and used Dad's name to do it. She pulled into my driveway. He's getting exactly what he deserves. We sat there in the dark car. What happens now? I asked. Now? The police investigate. The DA decides if there's enough for criminal charges. Judge Morrison reopens probate. And we wait. How long? Weeks, maybe months. I felt exhausted suddenly. Bone-deep tired. I don't know if I can do months of this. Emma leaned forward from the back seat. You don't have to do it alone. We're here. All of us. Sarah nodded. We're in this together, Mom. Until the end. Inside, I collapsed on the couch. Sarah made tea. Emma turned on the TV. Every local news channel was covering it. Breaking news. Sheriff's widow accuses son of elder fraud. Charity dinner turns into family confrontation. Hartwell Foundation in turmoil after shocking allegations. They played clips from my speech. Over and over. Me saying liar. Me holding up the bank statements. Me unpinning Richard's badge. It looked surreal. That woman on TV, angry, fierce, unafraid, was me. When had I become that person? My phone buzzed. I'd turned it back on. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. You're a brave woman. Your husband would be proud. Then another. Unknown. Thank you for exposing him. He tried the same thing to my mother. And another. Unknown. Praying for you and your family. They kept coming. Dozens of them. People I knew. People I didn't. All supportive. All saying they believed me. Sarah looked at her phone. Mom, you're trending nationally now. Someone picked up the live stream. It's going viral. Viral? She showed me. Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Everyone sharing the video. Sheriff's widow destroys son at memorial dinner. This is what justice looks like. She pinned his badge on her dress and ended him. Millions of views, thousands of comments. Oh God, I whispered. This is good, Mom. Public opinion is on your side. That matters. Does it? In court? Sometimes. In life? Always. Emma was reading comments on her phone. Listen to this one. My father did the same thing to my grandmother. Took 3 years to get the money back. I hope she wins. She scrolled. And this. Elder financial abuse is so common and so rarely prosecuted. Good for her for fighting back. More scrolling. Oh, this one's not great. She's airing family business in public. Tacky. Let them think it's tacky, Sarah said. We're winning. At midnight, Sarah's phone rang. She answered, listened, then smiled. That was the police chief. They want to interview Marcus on Monday. Official investigation into financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. I'm not vulnerable, I said automatically. Legally, you are. And that works in our favor. She hung up. Also, Judge Morrison is filing an emergency motion to freeze all of Dad's estate accounts. Nothing moves until this is sorted out. Can he do that? He's a judge. He can do whatever he wants. And he's pissed that Marcus lied to him. Emma set down her phone. Marcus's law firm just released a statement. They're conducting an internal review, and he's on indefinite administrative leave. Translation? I asked. They're going to fire him, Sarah said. They have to. The optics are terrible. We sat there, processing. In less than 6 hours, we'd gone from scared and uncertain to, what? Winning? It didn't feel like winning. It felt like surviving. Sunday morning, the doorbell rang at 7 a.m. I opened it to find Tom Bradley on my porch, the deputy who'd escorted Marcus out. Tom, what are you? I need to talk to you. All of you. Sarah and Emma came into the living room, both in pajamas. Tom sat down heavily. I've been up all night, calling people, Richard's old colleagues, people who worked cases with him. And? Marcus has been using Richard's name for over a year, calling in favors, getting people to look the other way, claiming he was protecting you. From what? From yourself, from Emma, from bad influences. He convinced half the department that you were declining and needed protection. My stomach turned. How many people believed him? Too many, including me. Tom looked ashamed. 6 months ago, Marcus called me, said you were acting strange, forgetting things. He asked if I'd be willing to sign an affidavit about your mental state if it came to that. Did you? No, but I didn't question him either. Didn't check with you. Just believed him, because he's Richard's son. He put his head in his hands. I'm so sorry, Linda. I should have known better. You weren't the only one, I said quietly. He fooled everyone. That's not an excuse. No, but it's reality. Tom looked up. What do you need? From me. From the department. Whatever you need. Sarah leaned forward. Testimony. On record. About what Marcus told you. Every conversation. Every favor he asked for. You'll have it. And talk to the others, the ones Marcus manipulated. Get them to come forward. Already started. He stood. Richard was my friend. My mentor. And his son dishonored everything he stood for. I won't let that stand. After he left, Sarah pulled out her laptop. Okay, we have momentum. Let's use it. She started making a list. We need to contact Marcus's law firm, get records of any cases where he might have used Dad's influence. Will they cooperate? Emma asked. They will if they don't want to be implicated. More typing. We also need to freeze the condo, the one Marcus bought for Ashley. Make sure he can't sell it or refinance. How? I asked. Leon. Based on the fraudulent loan against your house, if we can prove the down payment came from stolen money, which it did, then the property is proceeds of a crime, subject to seizure. Emma looked impressed. You're terrifying. Thank you. Sarah kept typing. And we need to prepare for Marcus to fight back, because he will. He's desperate now. Desperate people do stupid things. As if on cue, my phone buzzed. A voicemail. From Marcus. I put it on speaker. His voice was ragged. Broken. Mom, please. I know you're angry. I know I messed up. But you don't understand. I was trying to help. Everything got out of control. I never meant... His voice cracked. Please, just talk to me. Let me explain. Don't let Sarah ruin my life. She's always hated me, always been jealous. This is what she wanted. Sarah's face went cold. And Emma's manipulating you. Can't you see that? She's using you to get back at me. She's... The voicemail cut off. Silence. He's not sorry, Emma said quietly. He's just sorry he got caught. I know, I said. Sarah saved the voicemail. More evidence. He's blaming everyone but himself. That'll play well in court. She looked at me. Mom, he's going to keep calling, keep texting, trying to manipulate you. You need to stay strong. I will. And if he shows up here, I'll call the police. Good. My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. I didn't listen to it. By Monday morning, the story had exploded. National news, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. Viral video shows widow confronting son over alleged elder fraud. Memorial dinner turns into courtroom drama. Colorado family at center of financial abuse case. People were taking sides. Most supported me. Some said I should have handled it privately. A few called me a vindictive mother destroying her son's reputation. I stopped reading comments. At 9 a.m., Marcus was scheduled to be interviewed by police. Sarah was there, observing. At 11 a.m., she called. He lawyered up immediately, refused to answer most questions. But Mom? What? He's scared, really scared. He kept asking if he was being arrested. Is he? Not yet. But the DA is considering charges: financial exploitation, forgery, fraud, possibly more. How long until they decide? Weeks, maybe a month. And the money? Judge Morrison froze everything. Marcus can't touch any of Dad's estate, can't sell the condo, can't even access his own accounts without court approval. For the first time in days, I felt something like relief. He can't hurt us anymore? Not financially, but emotionally? Mom, be prepared. He's going to get worse before he gets better. She was right. That night, Marcus showed up at my house. He was sitting on my porch when I came back from the grocery store. Just sitting there, on the steps, like he was 16 again, waiting for his curfew lecture. Except he wasn't 16. He was 43, and he looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled shirt, hair uncombed, dark circles under his eyes. Emma was with me. She froze when she saw him. "Get back in the car," I said quietly. "Linda. Now." She didn't move, just pulled out her phone. "I'm calling Sarah." Marcus stood up. "Please don't. I just want to talk." His voice was hoarse, defeated. "You have a restraining order," I said. "You're not supposed to be here." "I know. I'm violating it. I don't care anymore." He took a step toward me. Emma moved between us. "Stay back, Marcus. I'm not going to hurt anyone. Jesus, Emma, I just want to talk to my mother. You lost that right when you stole from her." His face crumpled. And for a second, just a second, I saw my son, my little boy, the one who used to cry when he scraped his knee, the one who needed me. Then I remembered the bank statements, the forged signatures, the text messages about putting me in a home. "You need to leave," I said. "Mom, please. I'm calling the police." I pulled out my phone. "Wait, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes to explain, then I'll go, I swear." "There's nothing to explain." "There's everything to explain." He was almost shouting now, desperate. "I made mistakes, okay? I admit it. I took the money. I lied. I messed up everything. You think? But I'm your son, your firstborn. Doesn't that matter?" I stared at him. "You want me to forgive you because you're my son?" "Yes. Even though you stole from me, lied about me, tried to destroy Emma? I was desperate. The firm was going to fire me. I had debts. I needed—" "So you stole from your dying father's wife?" That stopped him. His mouth opened, closed. "Dad wasn't, he was already gone. He died in March. You started stealing in February." Marcus's face went white. "How did you—" "Sarah traced every transaction, every forged signature. You started before your father was even in the ground." Emma had her phone up now, recording. "Say that again," she said to me. "For the record. You started stealing before Richard died, while he was in hospice, while I was sitting by his bed, watching him fade away. You were forging my signature and draining our accounts." Marcus shook his head. No, that's not. I wouldn't." "You did. Sarah has proof." He looked genuinely shocked, like he'd convinced himself it hadn't been that bad. "I was going to pay it back," he said weakly. "When? After you sold my house and put me in a nursing home?" "I never actually, those were just ideas. Ideas you texted to your girlfriend, ideas you discussed with lawyers and doctors." I stepped closer to him. "You weren't going to pay anything back, Marcus. You were going to bury me, literally or figuratively, whichever came first." "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" My voice rose. "Your father spent his last days asking about you, wanting to see you, and you were too busy planning his estate liquidation to visit. I visited. Twice. In 6 weeks. For 20 minutes each time, and you spent most of it on your phone." Tears were streaming down Marcus's face now. I couldn't handle it, seeing him like that. So weak. So human? He flinched. "Your father was dying, and you couldn't handle it, so you stole from us instead. That's what you're telling me?" "I'm telling you I made mistakes. I'm telling you I'm sorry." You're sorry you got caught. No. If I hadn't found out, if Emma hadn't shown up with evidence, you'd still be draining my accounts right now. He had no answer for that. Behind me, I heard a car pull up. Sarah's car. She got out, saw Marcus, and her expression went cold. You need to leave. Now. Sarah, please. You're violating a restraining order. I can have you arrested. I'm trying to apologize. We don't want your apology. Marcus looked at all three of us, his mother, his sister, his wife, all united against him. You've turned into them, he said to me. Sarah and Emma. They poisoned you against me. No, Marcus. You did that yourself. I'm your son. You're a thief. The word hung in the air. Marcus's face twisted. Fine. Fine. You want to destroy me? Go ahead. But don't pretend this is about justice. This is about revenge. It's about consequences, Sarah said. Something you've never faced in your life. Dad would be ashamed of you, Marcus spat. All of you. That broke something in me. Your father, I said slowly, would be ashamed of you. He spent his entire life serving this community, and you spent his death robbing it. That's not. He wore a badge that said honor, integrity, service, and you have none of those things. Marcus staggered back like I'd hit him. I loved him. Not enough to honor his memory, not enough to take care of his wife, not enough to be honest. I pulled Richard's badge from my purse, the one I'd unpinned at the dinner. He wanted you to have this. After he died, he told me to give it to you. Marcus stared at it. But you don't deserve it, I said. You don't deserve anything with his name on it. I put the badge back in my purse. Marcus crumpled onto the porch steps, sobbing. Please, Mom. Please. I have nothing left. Ashley's gone. The firm fired me. Everyone hates me. I have nothing. Part of me wanted to comfort him. The mother part. The part that remembered rocking him to sleep as a baby, teaching him to read, cheering at his baseball games. But the larger part, the part that had been lied to, stolen from, betrayed, stayed cold. You have exactly what you deserve, I said quietly. Sarah was on her phone. Police are on their way, for the restraining order violation. Marcus looked up, panicked. You're really going to have me arrested? Yes. He stood, stumbled toward his car. This isn't over, he said. I'll fight this. I'll prove you're all lying. Good luck with that, Emma said. He got in his car, drove away too fast. We stood there in the driveway, the three of us. You okay? Sarah asked me. I don't know. That was brutal. It needed to be. Emma was still recording. Got the whole thing, including his admission that he took the money. Send it to me, Sarah said. And to the DA. We went inside. I sat on the couch and didn't move for 20 minutes. Sarah made phone calls. Emma made tea nobody drank. He looked broken, I finally said. He is broken, Sarah replied. Has been for a while. We just didn't see it. Should I feel bad? Do you? I thought about it. A little. He's still my son. He's also still a criminal. Both things can be true. Sarah sat down next to me. Mom, I need you to understand something. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Marcus is going to lash out. He's going to try every manipulation tactic he knows. I know. And some part of you is always going to want to forgive him. Because he's your son. Because that's who you are. I know that too. But you can't. Not yet. Not until this is over. Not until he's faced real consequences. I nodded. Emma brought over her laptop. The video from the memorial dinner has 12 million views now. 12 million? People are calling you a hero, saying you're inspiring, that you're standing up for elder abuse victims everywhere. She showed me the screen. Comments. Thousands of them. My grandfather was scammed by his own son. I wish he'd had the courage to fight back. This woman is a warrior. The way she unpinned that badge, I cried. More mothers should hold their children accountable like this. I read them until I couldn't anymore. I'm not a hero, I said. I'm just angry. Anger can be powerful, Sarah said, used correctly. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. This is Tom Bradley. Marcus just called me, asking me to testify on his behalf. To say you've been unstable. I told him to go to hell. Just thought you should know. I showed it to Sarah. He's desperate, she said, trying to rebuild his defense. Will anyone believe him? After the video? After today? Doubtful. Another text came through. This one from Marcus. Marcus, you won. Congratulations. I hope destroying your son was worth it. I stared at it. Then typed back. Me. I didn't destroy you. You destroyed yourself. I'm just refusing to clean up your mess. I blocked his number. Good, Sarah said. No more contact, not until the trial, if there is one. Will there be? Depends on the DA, on what they think they can prove. But with the evidence we have, the public support, I think they'll charge him. And then? Then we go to court, and we win. She said it with such certainty. But I felt anything but certain. No lawyer, no Sarah, no Emma. Just him. I know I'm not supposed to be here, he said. But I needed to say something, and I needed to say it to your face. I should have closed the door. Should have called Sarah. But I didn't. You have 5 minutes. He nodded. We sat on the porch. Not inside. I wouldn't let him inside. I've been in therapy, he said. Court-ordered. 3 times a week. Good. And I've been thinking. About everything. About Dad. About you. About what I did. He looked at his hands. I was so angry when Dad got sick. Angry that he was dying. That he was weak. That he couldn't fix it. Couldn't fix anything. So you stole from us? No. I mean, yes. But not because... He struggled for words. I was angry at myself. For not being enough. Not being the son he wanted. Not being... him. Your father never asked you to be him. I know. But I felt like I had to be. Like if I wasn't perfect, wasn't successful, wasn't enough, then I was failing him. So you became a criminal instead? He flinched. I convinced myself I was helping, that I was protecting you, that I knew better. And somewhere along the way, I started believing my own lies. That's not an excuse. I know. I'm not making excuses, I'm trying to explain. Why? What difference does it make? He looked at me then. Really looked at me. Because you're my mother. And I need you to know that I know what I did. How badly I hurt you. How much I destroyed. Tears welled up in his eyes. And I need you to know that I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. Not sorry I got caught. Sorry I did it. Sorry I became someone Dad would be ashamed of. I said nothing. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve that. But I needed to say it, while I still could. Before the trial. Yeah, before the trial. We sat there. Birds chirping, cars passing, normal summer sounds. Do you think Dad would forgive me? He asked quietly. I thought about Richard, his journals, his beliefs. I think your father would say that forgiveness is earned, not given, and that you have a long road ahead of you before you earn it. Marcus nodded. That's what I thought too. He stood. I should go, before Sarah finds out I'm here and has me arrested. Probably. He turned to leave, then stopped. Mom? For what it's worth, I meant what I said that day on the porch. I loved Dad. I do love you. I just lost my way. Love isn't enough, Marcus. Not without honor. Not without integrity. I know. I'm learning that. He walked to his car. I watched him drive away. And I realized something. I didn't hate him. I didn't forgive him either. But I didn't hate him. It was a start. September arrived with cooler air and dying leaves. The trial was set to begin on the 15th, 2 weeks away. Sarah was living at my house now, boxes of evidence everywhere, her laptop always open, working 18-hour days. Emma had moved out in August, into a small apartment near her school, but she came over for dinner 3 nights a week. We'd become a strange little family, the 3 of us, bound together by what Marcus had done to each of us. The prosecution is solid, Sarah said over breakfast one morning. They have everything: bank records, forensic signature analysis, testimony from Tom Bradley and 6 other witnesses. Will it be enough? I asked. It should be. But juries are unpredictable. Marcus is charming. His lawyer is good. They'll play the grieving son card, the devoted son who made mistakes while trying to help his elderly mother. I'm 62, not elderly. To a jury of strangers? You're elderly enough. She wasn't wrong. What's our counter? You. On the stand, sharp, articulate, clearly competent. You destroy their narrative just by existing. No pressure. She smiled grimly. You've already destroyed him once, Mom. In front of 300 people. You can do it again in front of 12. A week before trial, Marcus's lawyer reached out. Plea deal. Sarah brought me the offer. He'll plead guilty to 2 counts of fraud, return all the money, 5 years probation, no jail time. I stared at the paper. No jail time. What do you think? I asked. Honestly, it's not terrible. You get your money back, he admits guilt, and you avoid a trial. But he walks, does probation, and in 5 years, it's over, like it never happened. Except it did happen. Exactly. I read the offer again. Marcus would return $340,000, plus interest, plus legal fees. He'd lose his law license, permanently. He'd be a convicted felon. But he wouldn't go to prison. What does the DA think? They're leaving it up to you. It's your case, your choice. Emma arrived for dinner. I showed her the offer. She read it twice. 5 years probation, she said slowly. That's it? That's it? After everything he did? After he tried to have me committed? After he destroyed my career? He's returning the money. I don't care about the money. Her voice rose. I care about justice. I care about him facing real consequences. She threw the paper down. If you take this deal, you're telling him that what he did wasn't that bad. That he can steal and lie and destroy people, and as long as he pays it back, it's fine. That's not... It is, Linda. You know it is. Sarah held up her hands. Let's think about this rationally. A trial is risky. We could lose. And if we lose, he walks with nothing. No conviction, no money returned, nothing. But if we win? Emma asked. If we win, he goes to prison for 10 to 15 years. Silence. 10 to 15 years. My son. In prison. I thought about Marcus on my porch in July, crying, apologizing. I thought about Richard's journal. Justice doesn't take sides. I thought about Emma, broken in her car with a gun in her lap. No deal, I said. Sarah nodded. Emma looked relieved. We go to trial? Sarah asked. We go to trial. The first day of trial, I wore Richard's deputy badge again. The courtroom was packed. Media, spectators, people who'd seen the viral video and wanted to watch the ending. Marcus sat at the defendant's table, clean-shaven, expensive suit, trying to look respectable. His lawyer was a woman in her 50s, sharp eyes, expensive shoes. She stood for opening statements. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about a son who made mistakes while trying to care for his grieving mother. Marcus Hartwell is not a criminal. He's a man who watched his father die and tried imperfectly, yes, to manage his mother's affairs during an impossibly difficult time. She gestured to Marcus. Did he make errors in judgment? Yes. Did he act without proper authorization? Perhaps. But did he intend to steal from his own mother? Absolutely not. She painted a picture of a devoted son, overwhelmed, making bad decisions in good faith. It was bullshit. But it was compelling bullshit. Then the prosecutor, a young woman named Dana Chen, stood. This case is not about mistakes. It's about theft. Systematic, calculated theft. Over 9 months, Marcus Hartwell stole $340,000 from his mother. He forged her signature dozens of times. He lied to judges, to banks, to his own family. She held up documents. And he did it while his father was dying, while his mother was grieving. He exploited her vulnerability for his own gain. She looked at the jury. This isn't a mistake. This is a crime, and the evidence will prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. The trial lasted 2 weeks. They called bank employees who testified about the forged signatures. Forensic experts who proved the signatures weren't mine. Tom Bradley and other deputies who testified about Marcus's lies. Emma, who told the jury about the psychiatric evaluation, the threats, the destruction of her career. And then, on day 9, they called me. I walked to the stand, put my hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. The prosecutor started gently. Mrs. Hartwell, can you tell the jury about your husband? Richard was a sheriff's deputy for 15 years, then a community organizer. He believed in justice, in serving others. He was a good man. And your son, Marcus? I thought he was a good man too. I was wrong. Marcus flinched. When did you first learn about the unauthorized transfers? When Emma showed up at my house with evidence, 3 months after my husband died. And what was your reaction? Disbelief, then anger, then heartbreak. I looked at the jury. I raised Marcus to be honest, to have integrity. His father spent years teaching him right from wrong, and he threw it all away for money. The prosecutor showed me bank statements, one by one. Is this your signature? No. And this one? No. Did you authorize any of these transfers? Absolutely not. She went through dozens, every single one forged. Then Marcus's lawyer stood for cross-examination. Mrs. Hartwell, you were grieving during this time, weren't you? Yes. Overwhelmed? Yes. Is it possible you authorized these transfers and simply don't remember? No. I've never been to that bank branch. I've never spoken to those employees. I didn't authorize anything. But you were grieving. Grief doesn't make you senile. I knew what I was doing. I knew Marcus was stealing from me. She tried a different angle. You and Marcus had a difficult relationship, didn't you? We had a normal mother-son relationship, until he started lying. You confronted him publicly at a charity dinner, in front of hundreds of people. That seems vindictive. That seems like justice. Or revenge? No. Revenge would have been quiet, private. Justice needed to be public, so everyone could see what he'd become. She pushed harder. You destroyed your son's career, his reputation, his life, and you did it deliberately. I held him accountable. There's a difference. Is there? Because it seems to me you wanted to punish him? He punished himself. I just refused to cover it up. The lawyer paused. Do you love your son, Mrs. Hartwell? The courtroom went silent. I looked at Marcus. He was staring at the table. Yes, I said quietly. I love him. I always will. He's my son. Then why are you here? Why put him through this? I looked at the jury. Because love without accountability isn't love. It's enabling. My husband taught me that. Justice doesn't take sides. Not for friends, not for family. That's what separates right from wrong. I looked back at Marcus's lawyer. So yes, I love my son. But I love the truth more. And the truth is, he's guilty. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. We waited in a conference room. Sarah pacing, Emma sitting frozen, me staring at the wall. They're taking too long, Emma said. That could be good or bad, Sarah replied. What if they acquit him? Then we live with it. But they won't. How do you know? Because Mom was perfect on the stand, and the evidence is overwhelming. At 4 p.m., we got the call. Verdict. We walked back into the courtroom. Marcus was already there, his face gray. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. The forewoman stood. On count 1, financial exploitation of an at-risk adult, we find the defendant guilty. Marcus's head dropped. On count 2, financial exploitation of an at-risk adult, we find the defendant guilty. His lawyer put her hand on his shoulder. Count after count. Guilty. 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 All 10 counts. The judge thanked the jury. Set sentencing for 6 weeks. Marcus was led away in handcuffs, his bail revoked. He looked back once. At me. I didn't look away. Sentencing came in November. The judge gave him 12 years, with possibility of parole after 8. Marcus cried, asked for leniency, said he was sorry. The judge wasn't moved. Mr. Hartwell, you betrayed the people who trusted you most. Your mother, your wife, your father's legacy. This court has no sympathy for you. The gavel came down. He was taken away. Outside, reporters swarmed again. Mrs. Hartwell, how do you feel? Sad, relieved, tired. Do you think the sentence was fair? I think justice was served. That's all I ever wanted. Will you visit him in prison? I paused. I don't know. Maybe someday, but not yet. Why not? Because I need time to heal, to rebuild, to figure out who I am without him in my life. Any message for other families dealing with elder abuse? Yes, you're not alone, and you're not responsible for someone else's choices, even when you love them. Especially then. We walked away. Emma moved back in with me for the winter. Not permanently. Just until she found a bigger apartment, until the nightmares stopped. We fell into routines, coffee in the morning, dinner at 6, Sunday crosswords. Sarah visited twice a week, sometimes more. One Sunday in December, Emma asked, "Do you regret it? Going to trial?" We were making Christmas cookies, Richard's recipe. Sometimes. Late at night, when I can't sleep. But then I remember why we did it, and I know it was right. Even though he's in prison? Even though. She rolled out dough. I got a letter from him last week. Marcus? Yeah, saying he's sorry, that he's working on himself, that he hopes someday I can forgive him. Will you? I don't know. Maybe. In like 20 years. She smiled. What about you? Will you forgive him? I thought about it. I think forgiveness is a process, not a moment. Maybe I'm already forgiving him. A little bit every day. That's very wise. Or very tired. We laughed. The timer beeped. Cookies done. We pulled them out. Perfect golden brown. Richard would have loved them. On New Year's Eve, I changed the locks. Not because Marcus was getting out. He wouldn't for years. But because I needed to. The physical locks. And the emotional ones. The ones that kept me trapped in who I used to be. The devoted wife, the forgiving mother, the woman who stayed quiet. I wasn't that woman anymore. I was someone new, someone harder, someone who'd fought back. And won. Emma helped me install the new locks. Sarah brought champagne. At midnight, we stood on my porch, watching fireworks over Denver. To new beginnings, Sarah said. To second chances, Emma added. To changing the locks, I said. We clinked glasses. And I realized something. The locks I'd changed weren't really about keeping Marcus out. They were about letting myself in. Into a new life. A new version of myself. One that didn't need a husband to define her. Or a son to validate her. Just me, Linda Hartwell, 62 years old, sheriff's widow, survivor. And that was enough. The doorbell rang Emma's particular rhythm. 2 short rings. Wait. We were all already here. I opened the door. A delivery man stood there with a package. Linda Hartwell? That's me. He handed me a small box. No return address. I opened it. Inside, Richard's deputy badge, the one I'd left at the podium during my speech. And a note in handwriting I recognized. Marcus's. Mom, I found this in the evidence locker. They're letting me send it back to you. Dad wanted me to have it. But you were right. I don't deserve it. You do. Love? Marcus. I held the badge, the metal worn smooth from years of wear. Honor, integrity, service. Emma and Sarah came to the door. What is it? Sarah asked. I showed them. He sent it back, Emma said softly. Yeah. What will you do with it? I looked at the badge, then at the 2 women standing beside me. The family I'd chosen, the family that chose me. I'll keep it, I said. As a reminder. Of what? That justice starts at home, even when it breaks your heart. I pinned the badge to my coat. Especially then. We went back inside, closed the door, locked it tight. And for the first time in a year, I felt safe. Not because the locks were changed, but because I knew who I was and what I was worth. And no one, not even my son, could take that from me again. Epilogue. 2 years later, I got a letter from Marcus. He'd completed anger management, addiction counseling, apparently he'd been drinking more than anyone knew, financial literacy courses. He was up for parole in 6 years, wanted to know if I'd write a letter of support. I sat with that request for a week. Talked to Dr. Patel, to Sarah, to Emma. In the end, I wrote the letter. Not because I'd forgiven him completely, but because forgiveness was a process. And I was further along than I'd been. I wrote about his childhood, his potential, his capacity for change. I also wrote about his crimes, the pain he caused, the trust he destroyed. I didn't sugarcoat anything. And I ended with this. My son made terrible choices. He hurt people I love. He hurt me. But he's also trying to change, to become better. I don't know if he'll succeed, but I believe he deserves the chance to try. That's what justice looks like. Not revenge, not forgiveness. Just a chance to become who you were meant to be. Even if it takes a lifetime. I sent the letter. I didn't know if it would help. But it helped me. To let go a little more. To move forward. To keep changing the locks on my heart, not to keep people out, but to decide who deserves a key. And that was enough.